Hi everyone, in this lesson we're going to talk about HTML navigations. A navigation is comprised of links to other parts of the web page or sometimes to the other pages within the same website. Now I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to dive in right here. The HTML navigation element is the Nav element, which we're going to take a look at in this lecture. So I'm going to create an H1 and I'm going to say navigating to other pages. We have already taken a look at this when we talked about HTML anchors, and that was when we basically navigated to another file within the same HTML directory. So in here, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to save it so you can see the changes right here. Now I'm going to create our nav element. Nav element is a container element and within which you should provide navigations. So what are navigations? You're just going to see them now. So within here, I'm going to use a UL. The reason that I'm using a list container is because navigations tend to be more than one. So when anything is more than one, like more than one item, like 2 items, 3 items, it is a best practice to use them with their specific element, the element that HTML has created specifically for them, and that is a UL. Now within this UL, I'm going to create an LI, and within that LI, I'm going to create an anchor, because when we are navigating, what it is that we are doing, we're using an anchor element. There we go. So I'm going to say home.html. I know we don't have this one, but this is how you would navigate to other pages within the same website. I'm going to copy this. You know what? I'm going to show you the trick for this. So if you select this, hold Shift plus Alt, and then hit the bottom arrow, it is going to duplicate it for you. Again, select the element that you want to copy, hold Shift, press Alt, and then either the bottom arrow or the top arrow. In this case, I'm going to hit the bottom arrow. There we go. And I'm going to say about.html. So if we had an about.html like lists.html, was it 5? Yeah, it was 6. 6.lists.html. We use this in our anchors lecture. If you click on it, it's going to open that page for you. So this is one way of using navigations. I'm going to select this and I'm going to provide another one. And I'm going to call it services. So services. Okay, these do not have any content. So I'm going to say home. This is going to be about. And this is going to be services. Let's save that. Now you can see we have home, about, and services. If you click on them, you're going to cannot get home.html because we don't have that page created for us. That's not the point. The point is how you can use these navigations. Now, the second one is navigating to the other parts of the web page. I'm going to comment out what we have done there, and I'm going to save that. And if you have multiple sections, like your website is really large, and you have multiple sections within that same single page website, and when you want to click on any navigation, you want it to go to that specific section within the same website, this is how you will be able to do it. So I'm going to say navigating to other parts of the web page. Is that correct? Navigating to other parts of the web page. There we go. I'm going to create a nav element. Within nav, I'm going to create a UL element. Let's just go up a little bit. And in here, I'm going to create an LI. Within the LI, I'm going to create an anchor element. And I'm going to provide it with a ID. Now, we have not talked about IDs or classes yet because they are more of a CSS topic. But in HTML, we can provide IDs and classes, their purposes, so we can grab them with CSS and style them. Now, I'm just going to say this in one sentence and very simplified sentence. If you want to style an HTML element, you need to select it with a CSS selector first, then you can apply your styles on that. So this is like one big sentence. Classes and IDs, they basically allow us to grab this element from HTML, select it, and style it in CSS. You're going to see all about that. It's very simple. It's not as overwhelming as it sounds. So we have our home. Now, let's create a couple more. So there we go. The reason I'm providing these spaces is just for readability purposes. There is no other magic about it. So I'm going to say about, and let's change this to services. Services. It's lowercase, this one. It's a good practice to have your IDs and classes lowercase. Now, we don't have these sections. If you click on them, it's not going to take you anywhere. So how can we create these sections? Now, I know we have not talked about this specific element because we are talking about it now. Now, there is another very common container element which we're going to use a lot in our websites, and that is, as the name suggests, is section element. A section element provides different sections for our website. So I want to provide this section element with an ID. An ID is an HTML attribute. So I'm going to say ID equal to. So this is the first section. I want it to have an ID of home. What does that mean? It means when I click on this home link, it is going to take me to the section that has an ID of home, so I can read it, what it has, what it contains. So within this section, I'm going to provide an H2. I'm just going to say home, and I'm going to provide a paragraph, and I'm going to give it 500 words. So lorem 500. Let's save that. This is very difficult to navigate, so I'm just going to collapse that. This is our very first section. Let's copy that and let's put it here to create our second section. I'm going to change the ID of this to about, and this H2 is going to say about. You can see you can have more than one H2, but you should have only one H1. You could have technically more than one H1, but it's not a best practice. And I'm going to say services. Let's lowercase this one, and let's save that. So if I take a look at our website, we have home, we have about, and we have services. And if I click on any of these links, it is going to take me to these different sections because I'm selecting them by their ID. Keep in mind, it has to be ID. So if I go to click on about, you can see that I'm redirected to about. This change, this like navigation or switching, it happens instantly, abruptly, because we have not provided any CSS. If I click on services, now I am on the services section. I can also click on the home. We are on home. Again, services. There we go, and about. So this is how HTML navigations are used if they don't have any CSS styling. That's it for this lecture. See you in the next one.